That's Rod Streater of the Oakland Raiders. Rod, Zach Gelb, Chase Sr. We spoke to you on the phone, but it's finally great to see you in person. How are you?
Feeling great, man. Thanks for having me in the studio.
Well, we were cracking up yesterday because we always see the Richard Sherman, Colin Kaepernick commercials with the Beats by Dre, and there's always a funny storyline behind it. And we saw the two that you produced the other day, and one of them was with a girl with Girl Scout cookies with a very attractive female with her. And then the next thing you know, you take the Girl Scout cookies, put on the headphones, and you make a bowl and don't even give her $1. And then the next one was another female. She was standing by the pool with a nice little martini in her hand. And then the next thing you know, she falls in the pool. And anyone would go out there and get a lifesaver out there. You take the lifesaver, throw it aside, and then you put on the Beats by Dre, or as you call them, the Beats by Streets. So had that come about, and please don't put on those beats during our interview because we want you to hear us.
Oh, man. I can't even take credit for producing. It actually came from Who Has an App. It's a cool clothing line coming out. And they basically wanted to get a video out there to go viral and pretty much just get a funny video for everybody to see to attract them to the new app coming out. And when I heard about it, it was just funny. You know, we wasn't trying to make fun of anybody. It was just all, you know, fun to go out there and promote the app. And I think his name's Ryan Etcher. What's his name? Etchison or something like that, and Jen Coley, they produce it. So all the credit goes to them.
It's
I was just an actor.
Man. Hilarious.
Well, when are we getting in one? I want to be in one.
You want to get in one?
Let's get in one. We'll do one here at the station. You have a bunch of people annoying you, a bunch of media members asking you questions about your year in the Oakland Raiders, and then you put the headphones on and just ignore us.
That'd be cool, man. I'll take the idea to her.
It'll be like Marshawn Lynch and his media sessions all week long. You see, you only did about 6 minutes worth that media day when everyone else is doing 20 minutes. So let's get to your story because it's really incredible. Last time we had you on was just around this time. National Signing Day is coming up on Wednesday. We all know National Signing Day wasn't the best of days for you, and you had under 20 receptions in your senior year here at Temple University, and now you're in the NFL through 2 years, 99 receptions, 1,472 yards, and 7 touchdowns. How did you get from being a player that a lot of people weren't familiar with at Temple, with all the talent in the world, you have a nice big 6'4" frame, to dominating on Sundays in the NFL?
Well, Temple University was a big run-heavy school. We always had Bernard Pierce. He plays for the Baltimore Ravens. We had Matt Brown, 2 great running backs. So we was a run-heavy school and a pass-second kind of school, and that's where we fell into place. Us receivers pretty much didn't have that many catches or anything like that. But if you look at the stats, we were very explosive whenever we got the ball and things like that. So just coming from Temple, working hard, and knowing that I wanted to play in the NFL is what really pushed me. It was my dream to play in the NFL, and I wasn't going to let 19 catches define me or stop me from getting to the NFL. So I just used that as fire and fuel to get me to the next level.
When you look at the Seattle Seahawks, dominated the Denver Broncos on Sunday in Super Bowl 48, what makes that team special is the fact that they have a lot of players who were undrafted or late draft picks. You being a guy who was undrafted, you had to work your way and really work with an ethic of nitty and gritty. And how has that shaped you become the player that you are today? Because the quarterback situation out there in Oakland wasn't all that great, but you still were able to put up numbers, and through 2 seasons, you're one of the Oakland Raiders' top threats.
Yeah, it's all about being persistent, being consistent. You have to continue to work hard, continue just to keep your head down, continue to push forward, Like I said before, I wasn't defined by 19 catches. I knew if I got in the right situation, a passing team, I would be able to shine. And in Oakland, they gave me that chance. And, I thank the Oakland Raiders for giving me that opportunity and things like that. It's just about working hard. If you know you're a good athlete, you just continue to work. Eventually, things are going to turn. And I just wanted the chance to play in the NFL. And I knew that I could be a good player, but just getting there just was good enough for me. I'm trying to continue to work hard and get better.
Since making it to the Super Bowl earlier on in this decade against the Tampa Bay Bucks, the Oakland Raiders haven't really made it back to that level of play. But what they do have is one of the best fan bases in the NFL. What's it been like playing at the Black Hole?
It's amazing, man. Coming from Temple, we don't have that many fans. Like, we don't have our own stadium, so it's kind of hard to experience the fan base, but we have a great fan base at Temple. But Oakland Raiders, man, it's one of a kind. It really is.
Painted
out
faces,
there. It's like Halloween every game.
It's crazy.
It's Halloween every game. I love it. It's one of a kind experience. And if you get the chance to come out there, you got to experience it with me.
Yeah, you're from New Jersey, right?
Yes, sir.
So how was the move out there to the West Coast to California, where the weather's always good and not the 4 seasons?
Much better weather.
It's no snow. It's always sunny in the Bay Area. I love it. I'm from Jersey, so I kind of miss the snow every here and there, but it's always good to wake up with a sunny day.
Everyone made a big deal about a cold weather Super Bowl, and the NFL must have God on their payroll because it was a beautiful day in New Jersey, and it was really a beautiful week, and the next day, boom, they get hit with 8 inches of snow in New York. You lived in New Jersey, you came to school, you played at Temple University, now you're playing at the Oakland Raiders out there in L.A. Do you have a problem with the cold weather Super Bowl? Do you players want to play there, or would you want a more neutral site like New Orleans and Florida?
Yeah, I think it was pretty cool to have it in Jersey. I'm from the area, so to play in Jersey around my fan base and my family would be great. And like I said before, I played in all kinds of weather, snow, hail, freezing rain. So for me, I really wouldn't care. It's football, and you got to go out there and play. You should just be happy to be playing the Super Bowl, regardless if it's snow, rain, or anything. But I know everybody wants to play in great weather, probably Tampa, Florida, somewhere. But me, wherever it is, man, I'm playing in the Super Bowl.
Let's do a few questions on Temple football, and then we'll get back to Super Bowl 48 in your year with the Oakland Raiders. The stadium on campus, a lot of people are talking about how they want to get one built on campus. A lot of people believe that Kevin Clark and the new president, Theobald, are pushing to make that move when the contract expires with the Lincoln Financial Field and the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you think Temple football needs a stadium on campus to have a lot more success and bring in some bigger recruits?
I think so. Just having a stadium on campus would be great for the fans to come out to the dorms and just be in the area. Just to be able to walk up the street and go to the game is way easier than having to catch a bus or take public transportation, things like that. So I think it'd be big to get a stadium at Temple, and it'll really bring the fans and bring that college environment back to life here.
Now, the record for Temple football the last couple of years hasn't been all that great. New Mexico Bowl was obviously a signature victory. But what you're seeing is a lot of guys make the jump from Temple to the pros. You had Bernard Pierce last year win a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. This year, Terrence Knighton was starting at defensive tackle. He played a huge factor in that game because of Marshawn Lynch and the Broncos having to stop the run. You also have Muhammad Wilkerson, who's one of the best defensive linemen in the game. And Jaquan Jarrett finally found his niche with the Jets after a short stint with the Eagles. What does it say about the Temple program that a lot of these guys are able to make that jump to the pros and not only become NFL players but become producers for teams?
You know, to come from Temple, obviously making the league is a big accomplishment for these coaches and the organization, and it just shows you how well that these coaches coach us. You know, in college you can get a bunch of guys that run a college-based offense, but when you come to Temple, everything we do is kind of like the pros. Like we were forced to take notes, study, watch film, things like that. So when I went from Temple into the Oakland Raiders, it was really not hard. You know, I was prepared, and it was just the same thing like I did at Temple. Just take notes, watch film, and just take it to the next level. So what Temple does is a good job is get you prepared for the NFL.
How special was the relationship this year with Robby Anderson and P.J. Walker? They put P.J. Walker in, then halfway through the season, Robby Anderson finally gets his break on the team. And that was one of the most lethal passing attacks in all of college football between those two players.
Oh, yeah. I was keeping up with Robby on his Facebook and through the Alify Twitter site just to keep up with the games and everything, and just to see Robby come out and have a breakout season like this is pretty cool. And also P.J. Walker, a freshman or something. He's a freshman, right?
Yeah, freshman.
To see the passing attack just take off like that is pretty cool, because I know I didn't have that passing offense when I was here.
He broke some records.
He broke some records,
as a freshman,
So it's pretty impressive, and you just got to be happy and excited for the future, the passing game in Temple.
Like Chase said, this was a team this year that they only had 2 wins, but they were close in a lot of games. You look at UCF, they won a BCS bowl game. They had them down on the wire. They just couldn't finish out. You won a bowl game here. You had success at Temple University. It's a young group with freshmen and sophomores, but now they got to take that next step next year. Coach Matt Rule is obviously the right man for the job. He has dedication and passion for this university, and I think he'll stick around here for a few years. But how do you close out games? Because there was too many games this year when we were sitting there with 2 minutes to go saying, wow, Temple's going to pull off this upset, and they didn't finish it out.
Well, when you have a bunch of young players, that's what happens. You know, they're inexperienced. They don't know how to finish some games. And that's just going to come with playing. You know, as you grow, you're going to grow as a player, and you grow mentally and physically. So I think this year will be a big year for them. The freshmen becoming sophomores and the guys getting older. With that experience, they'll understand how to win games and how to close out, like mistakes, things like that. They'll learn from it. Just like the Raiders, we had a lot of young guys on the field and made a lot of young issues and made things like that. So just learning from those mistakes, you'll grow, and the next year should be way better.
Rod Streater, Oakland Raiders wide receiver and former Temple out, joins us in studio on the main event. And Rod, I just want to get your thoughts on Matt Rule, because he came here in 2006. He was a really good scouter of talent, and he was an offensive coordinator, coached almost every position on the football field, leaves to go to the New York Giants as the offensive line coach, and comes back and has really made a great impression on the players on the roster, the fan base, and some of the alumni here at Temple University. What do you think of the job that he's done, and what do you think about the future of this program? Because it certainly is bright under Matt Rule, and he's bringing in a recruiting class in the class of 2014 that's one of the tops in the nation.
Man, he's an energetic guy, and my comparison is like Pete Carroll, man. He's energetic. He's fun. He's a guy you want to play for. He's an offensive coordinator when I was a junior. In my senior year, he coached the tight ends. So I understand who he is as a person and a coach, and he's just a great guy. He's a coach that you want to play for. And he's very smart. I mean, obviously, to have a job in the NFL is big, and then to come back to Temple is even bigger. So I feel like Temple's in the right hands. They're in the right direction, heading in the right direction, and the future is bright. Matt Rule is a great coach, and I believe he's a coach for Temple to change this program around.
And he's kind of taking you under his wing, right? I mean, you're back here all the time. You're training sometimes at their facility and in the Philly and Jersey area. What's your relationship like with him?
Oh, it's great, man. I always, I wished him happy birthday on Twitter. I talk to him here and there. I'm about to go see him right after this. So our relationship is great. It just shows you that it's more than football with him. Right. After you're done with Temple and you leave and move on, you could come back to him anytime. He's like a family member, a father figure. So he's a great guy, and I'll be seeing him soon.
He's a player's coach, and he wants to get a lot of more recruits here. And then you see a lot more 3-star recruits coming in. Temple going to sign here on Wednesday. Has some big positions at defensive end, wide receiver, just like you played with the Temple Owls. But if you had to tell a recruit right now that sees Temple football, they see 2 wins, they're saying, I don't know if this is the best situation for me. What would you say to a recruit to convince them and say, hey, you should really come here to Temple University and play with Matt Rule?
You don't want to regret it when Temple goes undefeated or something. Temple can really turn this thing around and get a lot of wins, get to a bowl game and things like that. So as a recruit coming in, don't look at the wins and losses. You want to be a part of something special. It's something that special is going on here. So be a part of it, come to Temple, and let's get these wins.
Rod Streater joins us on the main event, brought to you by Peerless Boilers. Peerless builds America's best boilers. Gelb and Chase here with you, taking up until noon. And Rod, let's get back to the Super Bowl. You played the Seahawks twice in the preseason, the last 2 years, your rookie year and your second year in the NFL. And I know it's only preseason, so it's not the same atmosphere, but you were fighting to make the roster in your first year. And those cornerbacks, they're lethal. They know how to attack you. They jam you. They talk. They yap the whole game, and they back it up. How do you get separation against those wide receivers? Because the Broncos weren't able to do that on Sunday.
Against the cornerbacks, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, man, you just got to be physical with them. Them guys are big and fast, so you can't try to beat them with speed every play. You guys switch up your routes and try to make one route look like another. That's all I can say is, they do a good job getting their hands on you, and they're very smart. They're physical. They're great jammers, and as a whole defense, they play well together. So it's a hard team to beat. It was a great game by Seattle and the Broncos. It was a great game to watch. But obviously, when you have a number 1 defense, you see how dangerous they can be.
What sticks out to me is the Seahawks' defense ability to run north-south, east-west. I mean, they cover all areas of the field. You've been a fan of the NFL. You're playing in the NFL.
Yeah. Where
do you think this defense ranks with some of the great ones in NFL history?
I mean, it's one of the greats. I mean, you see against a number 1 offense only put up 8 points. That's legit. It's a legit defense, and they earned the respect this year. A lot was going into the game, and I felt like they backed it up. So I can't really rank where it ranks amongst the top of all time, but this year it was number 1. So that's a big thing.
Richard Sherman's physicality at the cornerback position, you don't really see that a lot in the NFL. He's one of the unique players at the cornerback position. Talks a lot, but like Zach said, he does back it up. Do you believe he is the best cornerback in the game?
Yeah, I believe it. His stats show it, and he has a Super Bowl ring. I guess he was like one of the least targeted cornerbacks this year and things like that. So to be able to go out there and do that consistently is pretty impressive.
Yeah, when quarterbacks don't target or quarterbacks don't target a cornerback. Do you believe that that's just fear from the quarterback side? I mean, because if I'm playing the quarterback position, and I know I've heard some analysts talk about this, whether it be on ESPN or some of the other national networks, I want to target that cornerback to try to get his best and see what he's got. But some of these quarterbacks just don't go his way. Why do you think that is?
I mean, that's film study, too. Sometimes you can watch film and see that receivers, again, jammed at the line of scrimmage, not creating any separation. So going into the game, I think it creates fear in some quarterbacks' thoughts and thought process. Like, man, I'm not going to look his way. Or it's a mind game, you know? So for Sherman to be out there talking and doing what he does is obviously affecting the way quarterbacks think, and he's winning on his end.
On the flip side of getting to their quarterback, Russell Wilson, a more mobile quarterback, you played with both McGloin and also Terrell Pryor this year. The mobile quarterback as a receiver, what does it do to the offense? It buys you a little bit more time and gives you some more time to get downfield, I would imagine.
Yeah, having a mobile quarterback just turns it into backyard football. I feel like as a defense, you can't guard a receiver for over 5-6 seconds. And when you get quarterback scrambling and things like that, it gives us opportunities to get open and find windows and create big plays. And you see that happen with Terrell Pryor and Russell Wilson and guys like that. They always create plays with their legs.
When you look at the history of the NFL, guys who have traditionally won Super Bowls at quarterback have been the prototypical drop-back passers. And an argument and a story leading up to this game on Sunday was that mobile quarterbacks can't win Super Bowls. Well, Russell Wilson went out there, didn't really put up eye-popping stats, but he just tends to do everything well, doesn't turn the ball over, and he's got a great football IQ. You played with Terrell Pryor, who's a mobile quarterback, runs around a lot, and also Matt McGloin, who's more of that prototypical drop-back type of quarterback. What do you feel is the better way to win in this league? Do you feel, is there a preference towards one type of style?
There's no preference. It's regardless. I think it comes down to who protects the ball more. Regardless if you're out there, you can scramble. It comes down to if you can throw. So the guy that doesn't turn the ball over more is going to win the game most of the time. So it doesn't come down to if you can scramble or not. You see a lot of quarterbacks who can't run have successful years and obviously win Super Bowls. And then this year, Russell Wilson, who's a dual-threat quarterback, he goes out there and wins one. So I think it's about not making mistakes and turnovers. And you see Russell Wilson really didn't turn the ball over much, and he kind of did a good job of managing the game.
That's the fascinating part about the quarterback position now, because you look at the AFC, it's a more traditional drop-back quarterback, the all-time greats and Brady and Manning, and then the NFC Conference Championship game, it was the mobile set with Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson, and those guys, the mobile quarterbacks, they've been able to stay healthy, those two. RG3, though, is one of them that wasn't able to stay healthy. That's the only concern for me with the mobile quarterback for the long term of the franchise, because you need a QB to win in this league. Is staying healthy.
Exactly. You got to stay on the field, stay healthy, so you can get that consistency and things like that. So the biggest thing I think this year for the quarterbacks is stay healthy. Find a way to protect yourself and get down when you can.
You're a local guy. Who's your NFL team growing up?
Gotta be the Raiders. My dad was a Raider fan. He loved Tim Brown. He loved all the guys for the Raiders. So I followed them. And as we got older, I just started to follow players like Larry Fitzgerald, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, and just a bunch of playmakers at receiver.
Not an Eagles fan growing up?
I wasn't an Eagles fan, but I liked players from there. When Vic got there, I was a fan of him and things like that. So I really never had a team, but I followed the Raiders because of my dad.
Yeah, as a player in the National Football League, you obviously keep an eye on and tabs on what's going on around the league. Chip Kelly comes in here in Philadelphia after just a disastrous 4-12 campaign last year under Andy Reid and really overturns the culture of that team. 10-6, they won the NFC East. What'd you think of the job that he was able to do coming in there as a college coach and really getting the players to buy in?
I think he did a fantastic job. You can see they made it to the playoffs in his first year, and with an offense that a lot of people criticized, said it wouldn't work, but when he went in there and did a great job and became one of the most explosive offenses in the year. So he did a great job, and it's pretty cool to see him come in the league and do that.
On the way out here, last time we had you on, as Rod Streater joins us in studio, former Temple Owl, now killing it in the NFL with the Oakland Raiders. We talked about the rookies when you were a rookie and how so many veterans played pranks on you, threw you in the cold tub, tied you up to a goalpost, and how you always ran away from them, as you were telling us. But what's the best advice so far through your 2 years in the league that a veteran player has given you about making it in the NFL?
Man, it's about not getting complacent. You got to work hard and never feel like you made it. You know, no matter how many Super Bowls you get, Pro Bowls, anything, you got to continue to work and continue to be consistent. Once you feel like you made it, that's when you fall off and slip.
Raiders were able to really make a jump forward. Record didn't really show that, but there is some talent on that football team. You got the draft coming up, then spring camp and training camp. What's your schedule going to be like leading up to the 2014 season?
Just working my butt off, every day trying to get better, working with these quarterbacks in the all season, and trying to get the receivers to come together and be a leader like that.
If there's one thing that you can really improve on, and looking back on your 2 years that you'd like to see yourself do better, what is that?
I would say you can always become a better route runner as a receiver. You can always create more separation. You don't need to be blazing fast. So no matter what you could do, you can always watch film and work on your routes.
Well, we appreciate a bunch of time today that you gave us coming in studio, and I want to get in one of those Beats by Streets commercials. I'm telling you, if we get screwed over on this and we don't get in, I'm never talking you to again, Rob.
Hey, send your email to who has an app, okay? Just talk to Jen Kylie. She'll get you in or something.
You got any more commercials coming up?
There was one commercial for the whole app. It's coming out, I think, towards the end of February, but that's pretty much it for the commercials.
Good stuff, man. Hey, thank you so much for joining us.
Me,
you make the Temple University fan base proud.
Anytime.
And keep doing your thing out there in the NFL.
Man, go Owls, all right?
Rod Streater of the Oakland Raiders. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up shop on Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP.